all over, man. Like one
I'm
minute,
like,
like, I can only breathe out of one side of my nose, and
uh-huh.
yeah, I'm going through the same thing too.
Yeah, I think it's this weather. It's blowing one thing in, the next thing out, and I'm like, oh my. Yeah, I woke up this morning and thought I was, thought I was like seriously sick. And then I got on out of bed and it was like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah, yeah, I know when it's mine. It's a breathing thing and it gets stuffy or something. I don't know.
This was my throat.
I never. I just deal with it. Like I might take a Benadryl every if it get real bad, but other than that, I just deal with it.
Oh yeah, I think I try to do the same thing.
So what's been
Hmm.
going on?
Oh my, oh my.
It seems
What
like
did,
we ain't talked in forever.
what did it happen since we left? Since the last time we talked? Oh wow. I don't know. Of course, I got a year older.
Yes,
Yeah, that happened.
got a year wiser.
Okay, whatever you want to call it.
You know what I'm saying?
It happened the day that I was birthed. It came back around. Um, I got to do the math lesson at the Acre.
Yes. How did it go?
Yeah, I had a ball.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. How did it go? For that's all
Yeah,
you
I
can.
had a ball. No. This gonna be funny. Funny, not funny. But um, I'm building a foundation for the learning, right?
Yeah.
And my grandson is so accustomed to it. He's good at math. That's his strength. And he's accustomed to what he's accustomed to, right? So he like, you're not doing math. You're not doing math. And Joker walks off and goes get in the car. And I'm like, ooh, him did that. So my little great niece,
Have to
she
step
was
in.
there with me.
Oh,
And
she
we had a ball.
held it
Yeah,
down.
we had a good time. We had a good time. And her little brother was there, but we had the grades at fifth through eighth grade. And so, he was Bubba's probably in kindergarten. He probably in kindergarten. So anyway, he wasn't first grade maybe, but I don't think he first grade yet. But anyway, I don't know. I can't keep up. There's too many of them. But my little great niece, we did the tour of the acre, right? And did all that. And then we said, okay, now it's time to ready to go. We're gonna do our lesson, we're gonna do some math. And she was like, I don't really like math. And I'm like, ooh, this the lesson for you. This the one right here that you got to know.
Yeah.
Right. And so I did the lesson very anchored it anchored in culture, you know.
Yeah.
We started with a ruler. So we had a ruler, and we talked about rulers, and we talked about how rulers rule with rules and what were the rules and some original rules. So we went through
Okay.
um, the ma'at, truth, justice, reciprocity, balance, like that. And those are all like math things. You got to have balance,
Yeah. Yeah.
the reciprocal of, you hear all those math terms,
For sure.
which come from nature. So we did that. We did a declaration from another African people group,
Mhm.
and it was extremely powerful. Just letting them know you have to have your own personal declaration of who you are, what you are, why you learned, how important you are, how important others are.
For sure.
And so that was like building a foundation. The grandson was like, can you give me some numbers, please?
What's going on, Bam? Peace, family.
Yeah. Hey, Bam. And so then I'll make it shorter, but I had a good time preparing
Uh-huh.
for the lesson. And we learned the learning process. And then after we learned the learning process, we went in to doing some what you would call math. We learned the Kemetic numbers. We learned the Yoruba number system. And then we brought it back home to the United States, and we did the Malcolm X dilemma, ended it with some algebra.
I know.
And she was smiling, she was happy, she was learning. And so that's what mattered most.
That need to be some taught regularly right there. That sounds like
Okay.
something I should have had. I need to be there for me, not
You
even
could.
the kids.
I got it. I got it. It's ready, locked and loaded. Whenever somebody need it, I'll just pull it out. So that was kind of exciting
Okay.
because I didn't get people to register to come to the event.
Yeah.
Right. For whatever reason, somebody registered, and then I think they registered like 2 kids, and then they turned around and unregistered them. And I don't know, maybe it was the grade levels, or it was, I don't know. But the same dilemma that I tend to have, and maybe others, is that you offer something and you have low to no turnout.
Yeah.
Or what I've noticed is that certain groups, their base or their foundation is their family. So I'm gonna have somebody because these kids gonna be here with me, or something like that, or
You gotta start.
yeah. So yeah. So I'm looking at that the level of participation, and then I thought to myself, hey, we'll finish our magnificent May, but I will offer, if there are groups that would like some type of a learning lesson, that they can, come to the acre and I'll provide it to a group, as opposed to looking for people to come, that maybe I should provide the opportunity in a different manner. Yeah. So if you have a group of kids that you work with and you say, hey, you did that math at the acre, can you do that for my group? Then I'll be prepared to come and do it. But the way it's kind of presented right now, it made me think, oh wow, it's a something missing in how people connect with learning.
Oh yeah.
And sacrifice, I guess,
you preaching to the choir. You know what I get it. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
if it's not sports, our community just don't line up in piles and droves. That's just what it is, and that's my trying to figure out every day. Like, I'm screaming, like, why are we 1,000% focused on something that only gonna benefit 1% of us? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But we gotta work harder. You gotta dig deeper. We gotta get creative, and you gotta collaborate. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing, because a lot of things we do, we on our own doing it. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that other groups got when they come together, it's not just a couple people. It's like groups of them to come together for this cause, for this particular
that makes sense.
Cause, you know what I'm saying? So that automatically makes it bigger when it's 3-4 groups coming together for this magnificent Monday, May. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I'm learning too, because I'm individualized. I just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I accomplish it, but I accomplish it on so many lower levels compared to what's really happening in the world of big business. And you know what I'm saying?
No, I do.
And stuff like that. Because we always, a lot of times we pat ourselves on the back and say, well, we doing good because where we come from, people not even doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been going through that for like a decade plus. Like, oh, man, you doing good now compared to where I'm from, but when I'm around, when I go state to state, when I'm around there, like, I ain't got nothing. Like, I'm in the poorhouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I done seen the world and I see what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? But if you just stuck in this one corner for like most of your life, you only see a certain part of the world that's just like, it's not even 5% of what's going on.
Yeah.
So, and that's what our community, when we trying to deal with them and we trying to get this stuff going, it's hard because they're trained to the way we live is the way we train to live. People fight against it. I go against it every day, talking about it, and all I'm doing is just showing the results. Like, I'm not even saying nothing like just that brilliant, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying like these are this is and if we keep doing this, this is why these boys are robbing and shooting and selling drugs and depressed and all this, because we telling them that they every dude that's in the penitentiary gonna tell you that he thought he was gonna make it in sports, like 90%, and they start spinning when things start happening. You know what I'm saying? The girlfriend got pregnant in high school. Like the coach, he got into it with the coach, or he busted his knee, or this one wanted fast money. Like, all got different stories, but it's all based around, I thought I was gonna be this person, and life showed me that I wasn't gonna be that person.
And then there's no
that's what we don't realize. It's great to have dreams. It's great to hope you can be this. It's great for all that, right? Sometimes, no matter what we want to be, life gonna show us something different. Now we gotta adjust. That's why it's good to have a really deep, complex way of thinking, and training the kids to be able to think like that on a higher level. Because when life do hit them, no matter what, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a policeman, I want to be a lawyer. You can say all that stuff. Life gonna hit you at some point that's gonna potentially spin you out of control, or you're gonna have to be good enough to hold it. You know what I'm saying? And hold the fort down. And most of us not trained like that, so that's why so many high rates of us spin out of control, because we're not trained what to do. Y'all told me I was gonna make it in sports. Y'all told me I was gonna be this. Y'all told me if I just got a job, everything's gonna be all right. You didn't tell me that you can work hard as you want to and still end up in the poorhouse homeless. You didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me. You didn't tell me if I go get a bachelor's degree that I would still have to work at a place that I ain't even go to school for to get in this debt for it. That's a way lower paying. You told me if I go to school for such and such, I have a career. I'm over here working at the warehouse or something with a degree. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, it sounds good in the beginning, but how are kids prepared? Are they prepared for when life tell them whatever you thought you was gonna be? Boom! Here's a life changing incident. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
You know,
it is.
That's part of our problem. So I understand your struggle, but hey, we're gonna figure it out. It's our struggle, really.
Well, I'm thinking it's a couple of things. Like, when I was growing up, you didn't have options. And they did, my parents did, and they couldn't have been that much different than other parents, because there was other kids with me. If it was something going on, something, we were taken to it. It wasn't, of course, you didn't have choices. I didn't. You didn't have choices. It's like they got this happening down there and you going. And so because that was my experience, then I think that everybody had my experience, and that everybody would move accordingly. As in, what? They doing math lessons over here on the weekend, and I know my kid is doing this, and this in math. I'm gonna get my kid there. But the mindset, the inconvenience, the something is different.
Yeah.
So that's that is, that's one thing that's different. There was something else that you said that I was going to mention. Oh, when you say in our area, it does. It looks like we are growing out of control. It looks like we are strong, because of what we offer. And if we put it in perspective, we do have more opportunities. We provide quality opportunities more often than other communities that offer some or none. So when you put it in perspective, because I know I said it, but you still have those hopes that, hey, somebody's going to show up and we're going to have this amount of kids or that or whatever. You have that hope that will happen, and even formulating the plan. It's like, look, we'll say it with our mouths, but what's really in my heart is that I want it to be what I would consider to be successful. How can it be successful if community isn't there? But it is a success to a certain degree because it was offered. And so then I'll say, it's ours to offer. We provide the opportunity. Don't worry about the rest. But it's still, somewhere in the back of your mind. You just you provided the opportunity because you know it was what was needed, and of course you wanted people to take advantage of it. This week we had the Money Man coming, 3rd grade and up. And he's going to teach the kids. This is the same guy that was at Leadership Academy, the Youth Leadership Academy. And he's going to teach them how to save, how much to save, and ways to save. And so I think that's pretty cool. Now, somebody just volunteering their time. I just said, would you? And they said yes. And I'm going to try to recruit more heavily. I didn't recruit a lot last week. But just, kind of reach out more intently and see if we can get some people there. Because if I invite somebody to come, it would be really sad if they didn't have kids. So I know that there'll be at least 2, 2, even if it's, my family. And I'll be working real hard to touch base and say, hey, 2 hours, bring them for an hour, whatever. This information these babies need. So, but yeah, so that happened since we talked last. That was exciting. I watched the video of you doing the resuscitation today. It popped up on my
I just got my certification too. I was looking at my email.
What?
Sent it today, so
Awesome. And I need one. I wished I could have been there, and I didn't make it. But I plan on eating catfish on Saturday, so I got it on the schedule. Oh, and the other thing this past Saturday, Under One Roof.
Under One Roof.
Yeah, it was a bookstore, and he had a commercial, Babatunde.
I remember that. That was a long time ago.
To whom you give your money is to whom you give your power. So I'm like down with that all the way. We celebrated the life of his wife. She passed away, and he had the memorial. Like they moved down to the Houston area in Spring, Texas. Okay. And so we had the honor of having the memorial here, and was a part of that this Saturday. So it was a nice, very cultural reunion. And so that's why I said kind of boxing up my lesson. Yeah. Going to Under One Roof, it was interesting when people were talking about Miss Johnny, she was just such a phenomenal soul. You walked in there and you was welcome. She just, you was welcome. It was like she knew you. It was just beautiful. And Babatunde was, he was like, to me, he's more serious and grab this book and read that. But Miss Johnny was just different. She had her touch to it. But a lot of people, or when they were speaking, they would say what they went looking for. Like one person was like, yeah, I went into the bookstore. I was looking for a Madeira, right, and then somebody else, I went looking for a black doll, and what we found there and having that resource, because it's invaluable. It was Under One Roof. It was a Black bookstore. It was a cultural bookstore. They had the poets, and so at the celebration, the poets came out. They was like, so they had like a special little section from all the original Under One Roof poets and whatever. And if they wasn't there, they wrote something and sent it, and it was like, wow. That's who we are. Those are the people we are. And if we can't connect our kids back to our culture, and if we can't connect back to our culture ourselves, then I think that we'll continue to see what we're seeing. My little great niece, when we're doing all these different things from Africa, she didn't know. You didn't know that we created math. You didn't know that we had numbers. You didn't know. See, knowing that, you look at math different now. You're more than capable of doing it. Just because that's not what they've shown you in your textbooks, and that's not who they talk about. They'll refer to Pythagoras, and he stole it. You just don't know what you don't know. And then we as a people, without a place like Under One Roof, or without a place like YBGI Acre, to see me, my lesson was blackity black, black, black. And it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. And my baby learned some math, some history, some culture, some put it together to understand it, to make it work. You know, we had a good time. And I think, you know, that's what learning is supposed to be about. So I was determined that after going to the celebration and being a part of that, to see the acre is valuable.
Yeah.
To not hide, you know, and it's sad that it feels that way, but it needs to be that place of culture, that place of safety for Black people to come read, come write, come learn, come grow, come whatever it is you need to do in that space. So we don't have it under one roof, but we need to have some places of safety for culture and growth. And then we have to understand culture and community has to come together for us to save our babies.
Yeah, it all goes together. All goes together. It's not no one, and that's why I always say people we at war so many ways. We gotta be complex. We can't just be like, okay, well, if I work on this, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people tell me I do a lot. I'm like, nah, we all have to do more. Right? I mean, everybody can't do the same level of more, but everybody needs to do whatever your level of more it can be. You know what I'm saying? And that's just coming from a we at war mindset, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that some people are doing that, Max, and that's cool. But I think even if it's just more on a level of thinking, more of a level of how you operate, like more is not as always I need to put more money or do more time, physical labor. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
Say more is less. Sometimes I need to be doing less of that, and that will be more for the situation. You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta understand there's different ways to operate that more. And that's just what everything that we do is ways we got to be. It might be a part of something. I tell people a lot of times, two things can be both true, depending on the situation. Like, you know, it's not that your point and my point, one is right or wrong. What you saying got truth to it, but what I'm saying has truth to it too. And
as well. And if we can be open to that. We can just be open to that, you know, I don't have the monopoly on truth.
Yeah.
But I do have my truth.
Yeah. And then sometimes that truth it just got different depending on, like I say, situational, whatever the situation is. But it is sometimes I have known in life that sometimes people go back and forth about something and what they both saying is truth. But it's just from their point of view of how they're looking at it. You know, the way they're looking at the situation. Yeah, if you look at it like that could be true. But this is the situation. You know what I'm saying? So I
get it.
You know, but not that, and that's why I named this today about the work that's being done, because sometimes we get on here and we talk about we you know, just whatever's going through life and all that, but we always need to pat ourselves on the back if no one else does, because this is the beginning of what we're doing. We don't have like, well, I ain't gonna say we don't have. It was broken because we did have generations that grew and had businesses and all that, but it was just a sector, and that was after slavery. You know what I'm saying? You know, because even before that, we was royal and all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, from the time we got here, it was a broken stage, it was a rebuild stage, but then it was a systematic broken stage again for the people that was trying to build, like you know, a Black Wall Street. Hold on, they getting too much. They building towns. They doing Rosewood. You know, a lot of people think about just Black Wall Street, but it was a lot of towns like that. Yeah, it was a lot of situations like that all got burned down, stolen, and whatever you have. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got to understand, that where we at, we back in a broken stage, but with this technology, we at a point where we can get back to some power. You know what I'm saying? Like technology and all the stuff that y'all didn't have access to in the 80s and stuff that like little kids can learn and like at 5. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd have to almost go to high school or college to learn some stuff that they can go Google right now and learn like that. You know,
or they just know.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they just know.
You know,
and for us to, you know, really understand me as it relates to you, that you have a set of knowledge that I don't have because you grew up in a world that was different than the one I grew up in. And that I'm dependent on you to help me to understand what this is, because it's not what it was. and I've experienced it different than you. And then the same thing with those younger than you.
Yeah.
You know, they in schools with all kind of electronics and this, that, and, you know, access to, I don't know, they say that little TikTok show be teaching some stuff. They had TikTok just be mad about Cleopatra and all kinds of stuff jump up on the TikTok is my understanding. Yeah. And so they're being all enlightened about stuff. And if that's the case, you know, well, okay, well, what are you young people thinking about it? Well, what are y'all, you know, what are your ideas? How do you, you know, giving voice to young people, I think is important. Yeah. Because they're experiencing the now that we need to support them through to build the future that is for them. We might be around, but we're not in it the way they're in it. You know, I'm gonna say I'm at a different side of it now. You know, it's just a different trajectory for me. I'm not out there, you know, in the work world, in the world of and taking care of, you know, kids and raising kids and all of that's over for me. Yeah. And it would be difficult for me to tell kids or even my kids how to raise kids right now. There has to be some adjustments to a certain degree.
Yeah, but see, that's kind of the problem. What you're saying is partly true, but part of the problem is we don't have a standard. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
If you go to a Chinese household, you go to any other powerful group household that's really shaking, and it ain't even the most powerful ones. It's the ones that ain't even got as much power, but they still got structure. They still got, you know, it's the middle class or whatever, right? But they have a standard. Like even though they don't live the same way they did in the 70s, they do in the 2023. But that same standard of this is family, it's about this, it's about that. They kids, even though they might be a little snobby in Princeton or something, they still got that standard of this is what is important. That's why a lot of people that's black, they be like, oh man, I thought he was cool. But then, yeah, he cool up until a point. Because at the end of the day, they understand that it's us first, it's this first, this the way great-great-grandpa set it up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they know that. Yeah, but we don't have that structure. Great-great-grandpa, we don't know what great-great-grandpa set up because all we know is like our uncle went to jail. Like this and that. Like the standards are just so. That's why I get aggravated when people say, "Well, I'm just glad to be I'm free and with a job." Like that, there's nothing wrong with being free with a job. Yeah. But that's talking about we pray. Like you'll see that every day posted. Like that's really a feeling. That I'm black and I ain't really supposed to be here, what statistics say. So just because I'm out of jail or I got me a job now that really I'm still scraping by, but I got a job. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying the standard, like your mindset should be, I just got a job, but I'm starting a business over here and I'm looking for a better job. Like ain't nothing wrong with the job part, but it's just that's it. Okay, I'm waiting for more information now. You got a job, so what you gonna do with it? I got a job now. I'm going to open up this snow cone stand. I'm going to get this hot dog stand. Or I'm about to open up a t-shirt. Like, don't stop at a job like that's the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, we got to teach that to our kids so they'll be like, the job might be a step for me to get over here, to get to that corporation or to build my own corporation. Or I might want to go work at an oil place so I can own my own oil lube spot by the time I'm 25. You know, once I learn the system, I know about the trucks. Like, our kids don't even think like that. And I told a kid that. He was like, I'm depressed because I dropped out of school and now I'm over here working at this oil place. And I'm like, do you keep up with the trucks? Do you keep up with how much oil is it up under the building? Do you talk to your boss and get information? Like, you can own one of these one day. What you depressed about? Just because you 18 and society said you didn't make it because he thought he was gonna make it in football and didn't know college pick him up. So now he feel like he didn't make it at 18. Your life just started. Why you already got a defeated mindset? It's because the system that he grew up in told him if he don't do this by 18, he's a failure. Instead of the system having a trust fund for him, so when he got 18, he can go open up a corporation. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like the system that should be nurtured him and had him something set up at 18 is the one having him depressed and thinking he ain't made nothing because he didn't make it to a college at 18.
So I get a lot of unlearning to do. in our speech and our thought, and then this might wrap around to the other conversation that we got to have tonight. I'm like, that way he don't even want to talk to me no more because we got to have it. Anyway, it's no big deal because it ain't nothing gonna separate us. It's nothing separating us, as in everybody who's listening who have a heart for our people. Nothing's gonna separate us if you have that heart. Yeah. So yeah, I get you talking too much. What was I saying, Tony?
You went off, and you act like you was gonna put it off, and then you kind of started talking about it, and then you tried to put it off again. But
no, I was saying something that was important. Oh, we got to do some unlearning.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. Some real life unlearning, and even in our speech and in our thought, we have to unlearn some things. So right now we have a lot of children that are going off to college, and great, I guess. Are they college ready? Are they going to college because mom and dad want them to go to college? That's the expectation. Will they start and finish college? Will their degrees line up with what is useful and necessary for them? Or what is that you're doing?
Every time you name something, the percentage you're making, it gets lower. It gets low every time you name something. The percentage.
Oh, now you stuck.
Can you hear me? You stuck, huh? It's gonna pop back in. But
okay, we back.
Yeah, what I'm saying is every time you name a different situation, the percentage that could make it gets lower and lower.
Okay, so we have to change that. The way, yes, I want you in college.
Yeah.
If you're college ready, and there's some money there for you to go to college.
Yeah.
If those things are not in place, you can learn other places.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn there, and you can learn other skills. You can just start doing because you have access now, So that's what I think I was attempting to say. As the world changes, we got to change with it.
For sure.
And this college, that's a racket. That's people making money off of us again. And not, whoever's going to go and get in that debt, go start and not complete. Start complete. I was just talking to a student that I had that's all grown up now, and I was telling him my experience. I went to college and I got a 4-year degree, but when I came out of college and I went looking for a job, if it was a white girl with a high school diploma, she got a higher position in the company than I did with my business degree. My business degree was not helpful to me when I first came to this area, okay? The first job that I was able to find was the VFW 9191, okay? That was the black VFW hall, okay? But they had a place. They had a place where you could come and find a way to make money until you move to the next step, It reminded me of people when they would transition from the South to the North. You had one place you stayed and you had regular jobs they could issue you into, and as you moved up in that job or on to the next one, you move from that house. We had systems like that set up. And when we look at the condition of what we have now, we probably need similar structures to where we're not saying and guilting kids if they're not going off to college. Yeah, I want you to go to college. But when you go to college, Tony, we need some lawyers.
Yeah, it's about 8 to 10 things you really can go to college that we really need.
That we need. Lawyers, and we got to change the narrative.
Yeah.
We have to change the narrative.
Yes.
That you just get to, maybe some people have the freedom to do that, but I don't know that other cultures actually take that freedom. I think they have built within their culture a mindset. So this is what I noticed that happens is you say to kids, what you gonna be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you finish school? Where you, and in our mind, we already have what the answer we want. I'm going to college. Kids know that's the answer you want, even if they fail in everything. They know you want that answer. They will give you that answer, and they're not going to college. They may not graduate. We have large numbers of students that do not graduate. When I was at Shoemaker, they would start off the freshman year, the auditorium is packed, okay? By the time it's graduation, senior, a third of the auditorium is there. And the schools play with the numbers. Don't play with the numbers. Y'all better quit playing. The schools play with the numbers and make like their graduation rate is this high. No, it's not. This auditorium was packed freshman year. It is senior year, and there's only a third of the kids here. We have failed 2/3 of the children. Okay, and so now, if we failed them, and then we're gonna guilt them because you're not going to college, and then you go to college, and we don't give you any direction for what is needed so that you can be sustainable, so that you can sustain yourself out here and contribute.
Yeah.
So for me, when you were talking before, I'm thinking when we asked the question, what you gonna do, what you gonna be, how you gonna, we need to have the script ready. I'm gonna be a good person. I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna earn money and I'm gonna be able to do this, this, and this. The mindset has to be transformed for what was given to me. I can't speak for you, but for me, it was go to college. That's bottom line. Go to college and pretty much get a job.
Yeah, mine was sports in college. Yeah.
Sports in college, right? What about being a good person? What about the values that we hold true as a people? Yeah. What about that? Love your family. And so the declaration that I read for them on Saturday, that's the Aztec, the Mayans, the Inuit of North Africa, all these different groups use this particular number system. But this declaration said, I am unique. You have to speak into children who they are. Somebody else, it was Mr. Wusu, Christopher Wusu, that put on a post that just struck me. If all you do is criticize kids, you don't make them hate you. You make them hate themselves. And that's a no-go. We have to change the narrative. There's a different, there's a different script. They can't see us tearing one another down, and then we turn around and expect them to do something different. And we can't tear them down and then expect them to do something different.
Yeah.
So.
And we can't live a certain way and then expect them to do something different too, because they watch us.
That's true, because we're, that living example is going to be much more than whatever you can say.
And I can say all I want. A lot of people hear me say that and think I'm only talking about like the parents that's in the street life or this and that. No, it's a lot of parents that by society rules, they go to church, they go to work, they're good people, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the penitentiary, 60, 70, probably higher than that percentage of those black men will tell you that they come from that household.
Mm-hmm.
So when are we gonna say, even though society says because you the deacon at the church and you got a good job over here at this plant, that you the model man?
Mm-hmm.
But what's the disconnect? What's the disconnect with you and your children? Because don't nobody care about that. Well, I did my best. He's just out of control. No, he's not prepared for a world. And the world you trying to give him not really feeding his soul. You know what I'm saying? You telling him if he just work, be submissive to the system and work and be a good boy and go to church, everything gonna be all right. No, that's the way you perceive life. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of black men in their penitentiary that tell you that they ran away from that and rebelled to the streets. And I was talking like I was touching on some of the family stuff I got going on, and I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, man, the way, you probably seen some of my posts or my views on religion and this and that, and respectfully always. But I said, I think I'm traumatized because of what I grew up around. I grew up around the people just shouting and speaking in tongues and this and that. And this dude beating his wife, 4 Sunday church. This woman messing with this man. I'm like, everything's just so fake. And I'm a little kid just peeping it.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's still going on, and it's like, but ain't nobody saying nothing about it. But we will talk about the street person and of course we got to stop doing that though, because while you doing all that in the church and the elders, right? The elders in the church, they hooting and hollering and shouting and all that, and they kids in the street. What's the disconnect? Why ain't no institutions? Why that church ain't got no institution that's building entrepreneurs? Building stronger black men, building men that got knowledge of self, so they won't be out there doing that in the street. You know what I'm saying? We just say they went crazy, and now you train them for a world that he's not prepared for this world. and the only thing that he see fit is become a rebel and hang with these dudes because why? It's 30 more black men over there that's untrained from this world, and they want to rebel against the system too, because we all just confused, mad, and ready to just go to war with the world. Why? Because we don't. We not prepared for this. We don't know about no AI and crypto and all this stuff, man. The money losing value every day, but all I do is chase money. That's why we posting up with the phone money, but it's losing value. You know what I'm saying? We don't even realize we need to be holding up a deed, or we need to be holding up a paper to assets. Forget the money phone, because all that right there, by tomorrow you wake up, it's just gonna be less. You need to go invest that real quick. I ain't even got it. I can't even do no, I can't put $1 up to my area, you know what I'm saying? That dollar is somewhere doing somewhere, or maybe I'll see it later on in life or something, because I understand that that's the way we get to the goal. We got to sacrifice now, and that's what we say as we build these programs. I had the same thing, I had to, like you said, you see me get the CPR, and we had my guys, the security company, fly out. And it was a low turnout. I had people come from Dallas. I had people come from Austin, this and that. But from Temple wise, it was really a no-show. And then we'll be the same one soon. Not just Temple, this as a community, worldwide. We'll not attend and support stuff like that. Support what you're doing, and then when something happens, what we gonna do? It's out of control. We got to do something. When it's gonna stop? Oh Lord, you know what I'm saying? But then you see people that's trying to do it, and it ain't all a one fixed thing, but it all connects. We need to be supporting your initiative at the Acre. We need to be getting all our kids from 13 and up, making sure they register with CPR, and making sure they register with. And they was talking about sex trafficking and doing that. Who that look like us coming to the community with highly trained military, you know what I'm saying, guys, they got a couple decades on their record. I know just nobody just talking off the hip, somebody that really lived the life that we're gonna open up a Texas base now. We registered for with FEMA for that disaster relief, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be getting contracts with the CPR, and we're gonna be doing the security all the way from bodyguard all the way up to executive protection. So like that's somebody that look like us, and I'm the one that added the community part. Like we got to start policing our own communities, Yeah. My girl from New Era Dallas, Chelsea came down, so I'm gonna be up there with. I'm gonna be meeting Zeke from New Era Detroit. They're gonna be in Dallas. We're gonna be down there marching through the part of town, giving out stuff. So I'm waiting for that. That's the revolutionary moment. I'm ready for it. You know what I'm saying? I hope it ain't too hot though. But that's why I'm talking about doing the work, because we're doing a lot of work. And I know sometimes I feel the same way. It should be a lot more. Like I did a free thing with Raya, you know what I'm saying, who's offering those type of classes with a 13-year-old. Really, I'm paying her to be a teacher, so she's getting trained up. Her parents always telling me about, man, she like CEO, youth league up. She be telling everybody, because she goes to Austin. You know what I'm saying? And she into our classes up there, and then we about to put the book together. So that's some work that's being done. But then we got to do the gardening, because that's part of how we feed ourselves, and that's something we pass on. So that's business, and showing you that's right there, teaching entrepreneurship with your arts and crafts, not no school stuff. If she dropped out tomorrow or nobody hired her, she would not feel like she needs to just give up on life, because she already know from 11 years old being in part of the COU. And she ain't gonna just put it all on COU because her parents already had her right. But with her skill, and then me having coming to a business like this, it just nurtured it and flow. And ever since I bought her first painting, she won't stop drawing. And that's what we need to do with everything. This one might be an author, this one might be a chef, and just spark them. Like, hey, are you a chef? Okay, come out on this weekend, and we're gonna have you cooking hot dogs. That little thing right there, having him cooking hot dogs, selling them, making some money, would change his life.
Yeah. So that's what I say. I think I talked to you about this before. My grandkids is like, this, give me this. I want this. Can I work? I done told you.
Yeah.
What it is. You're good at this. You can do this. Get out there. I'm here to support you to make it happen.
Yeah, let's go.
But I need that to come from you. But I don't know how to make it come from them. There's a point intrinsically they have to want something. Now I know if I can't give, Not, I know that doesn't make sense. That, you know, if I give you everything, why would you ever do anything for yourself? So
And
we
that's
got
what we're gonna talk about, because we're gonna start. It's some things that's gonna start getting. It's gonna be fees to it, because it just gotta be. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna always have the free event here and there, but the normal operation has to be some type of fee, because that starts the training of paying and valuing that information. You
right.
know, like when they paid $150, $200 to play football or flag football or something, they I'm talking about they run up there to get that. You know what I'm saying? So we can't be having stuff that can change their life on that's they can really sustain their life and just give it away all for free. We can give you parts of it. Like I'm gonna be posting in a couple of days the whole academy, all the classes, and I don't say all of them, because I need to talk to you, and we're gonna really frame up some stuff, because what you talking about you're doing in the month of May needs to be a charged course. They might be paying $25 or whatever for the month. You know, we'll figure out that, you know, whatever. Or this month to take this whole 4-step course is gonna be $50. Boom. So and if kids, like right now, I'm dealing with a lot of sponsors. What they're doing, they're sponsoring the kids. I'm charging $300 per kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be, and I already got paid by some parents. So it's gonna be some parents that can pay, some parents that can't pay, but they really want to pay. So we'll figure out how to be half with them. And then some is can't, that we still gonna figure out. And then the ones that can't, the kids that can come work vendor days and all that, they work for their tuition. That's how,
so awesome.
We can't. We got no excuses now. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, we can have 2 vendor days a month, and you come and work off your tuition for the academy. You know. So, and we got like just a list of whole kind of programs and stuff. So I'm excited about that, because the donors are excited about that. And you know, I was about to say I got the nonprofit. I got the nonprofit started. I got the nonprofit. It's official Texas wise now. We go with the IRS. The guy told me it would be a quicker process, because everybody just told me go straight to the IRS. They were like, nah, go to Texas, get that, open up the account. And then once you file with the IRS, it's already open nonprofit. So it'll be like about a 2-month thing instead of the 9 to
get your EIN, you mean?
No, I already got the EIN. No, I already got that. Now I'm talking about to make it official 501c3. Right now it's Texas, it's incorporated in Texas as a nonprofit. Now you know, so in Texas I'm exempt, you know, so in Texas I'm official. Now I got to do it for the IRS, but they just told me the process would be quicker if I already had the Texas start.
So you got some
so it's a couple more filing about to file the 1023 EZ. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, but tomorrow. Yeah, I'm thinking today weekend. That's tomorrow. So it's in process. It's in process, but the thing about it is, it's just like we got to just keep chipping away.
Yes,
we got to collaborate. We got to start doing stuff, because anything we do together always gonna be a little bigger. I don't care. Hey, if you said you had a kid and I had a kid, that's already 2 kids. We already bigger than we would have been if we did it. So you know what I'm saying? So when we get those numbers to 5 and 5 and 10 and 10, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And that comes from the awareness, and we gotta build up the culture. Like the CEO Youth League, when I started, I'm surprised we getting ready to hit the 50 student mark. I'm shocked, because our culture don't do this. That's why it's so hard. I have 40 something kids, right? And only 15, 16 showed up for Rise Paint and Sip. You know what I'm saying? So even the ones that register, still, it was something better than it probably was at the mall. I don't know, but if it was a football game, and it is what I was telling you, I understand, because the same parent that told me, man, it's sprinkling outside, I can't make it today, is the same parent that'll drive through a tornado to get to a football game. It's just, that's the culture. Like, and now that kid knows. My mama the football game was way important. She put her life in danger. She drove through all that bad weather, but when the sun was out, but it was raining, she didn't want to go to investing. So that kid automatically knows sports is first. I talk to kids every day. It's sports or die. They really don't got nothing. It's nothing else in the wheelhouse, and that's sad, because only 0.5% of them will really get a professional check. You know, and that's the part I'm trying to figure out. How do I help that part without making them feel low? Like, don't go after your dream. It's cool to play sports. I'm not saying that, and I think that's why a lot of the football youth people that I try to team up with, I think my approach and the way I come at it, it kind of throws them off. And I'm saying forget sports, and I'm like, no, sports shouldn't just be number one when it's pretty much gonna never give you a check. So sports is good, but you need to know about 4 or 5 other things about skills and lives and business and money and banks, then get to the sports. But you know, in the sports world, they always say what sports first. Like you know what I'm saying? The only thing they might put, I ain't gonna say they put it in front of them, but they'll put books in it because you gotta halfway pass. They'll pass you through the rest of the half if you're good enough. But if you can halfway do the books, they'll get you the rest of the way. So they might say books first and then sports, but these kids I talk to, it's nothing. Like, man, I want to talk to you about this business. Well, this summer I'm gonna be working out. You know, it's cool. Okay, work out in the morning. In the evening, you need to come sit with me and let's talk about something. You know what I'm saying? Let's build on something. Let's start a business in your off time. That's what professionals do anyway. If you want to be a professional so bad, go and start a business. You are already ahead of the game. Because you're not gonna find successful professional sports people that don't have a business somewhere or have money invested. So if you start young, you're already ahead of the game. So it's just trying to get creative and all that. But you know, so you said what you want to talk about? I know it's 9:09.
9:09.
Just to knock on the door. I'm a little later, so it's on me. So you wanna end it with some words, or you wanna have a quick discussion?
No, we're gonna have to, because I've been holding on to this for like man, I started to pick up the phone. I'm like, what happened? What happened? Why they didn't call me? Anyway, let me stop. But yeah, that there was something that was said that was unclear, I think, where it was communicated that I said that white supremacy doesn't exist.
No, you didn't say that. I think what you said is you don't like that term because they're not superior over us or something like that. That's what it was.
So I don't. Personal choice. Putting it on anybody else. It is a term that I cannot give power to because I don't find that to be truth. So then, of course, I've had time to kind of think about that, but I don't use that term. That's me personal. I hear it, and it's cool for everybody, I guess.
No, and it wasn't even an attack on. Well, never was attack, but it wasn't even a question on you. The question was why I didn't just say, because they know where I stand on it. So they was like, okay, why you just? And it was like it really wasn't even the time for that conversation. She just threw out the way she feel about it, and I ain't taking no way because I'm a person that, hey, whatever you feel is what you feel. Like I feel what I feel. There's no right or wrong, because like I say, both of those things could be true. I could feel some days that I don't want to give that no power to, right? I could feel like that me saying that gives it more power, and then it's days. Most of my days are like, if I give it power or not, this system is what it is, and we're powerless in the system. So I don't want to play with myself and try to trick myself that they ain't got. I don't want to give that word no power because they ain't really powerful over us. And I'm like, but my everyday life shows me that that's a lie. So that's what we stand at. It's not that you're wrong on it. We just the way we approach it is even if we say that and you can feel like that. There's nothing wrong with feeling like that, because some days I can feel like that. But what does my everyday life in the society and the how powerful powerless we are, what does that say? Is something supreme over us? Why you know what I'm saying? It's something.
I think I've decided
the system that was set up by white men.
Yeah. I think sometimes we no, I don't want to say we. I'm just going to say sometimes sometimes terms can restrict us, or we're restricted, or we're limited to the ones we use.
For sure.
So whenever that term would seem to be sufficient for someone at some time, then it should be used.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I have to go, okay, I'm not using that. But the reality is that we do not exert the same level of power in all circles as they do. They have a structure in place. And I'm thinking white dominance. Yes, they dominate right now. If that's what you want to be known for, being dominant, power and control, that is their core mechanism. Yeah. That is how they are born into the earth and raised. You are to maintain your power and your control. It doesn't matter where you are, what time it is, what time of day. If somebody doesn't look like you, and it doesn't matter how dark they are, what race they're from, you better exert your power and control. You have to appear to be dominant. You have to be at the top by any means necessary. That's the reason why we can see some of the dastardly things that have been done by the people that are have devised and this term white supremacy. No, you're not supreme. You might dominate, and the ways in which you dominate are devilish, downright destructive, demeaning, degrading, nothing that I would desire to ascribe to be or to do. But the sad part is that we as a people do want to be like them. No, we want to have a level of power and control. We don't want to be like them. We don't want to get the power and the control in the way in which they have gotten it. No. It's not who we are. Yeah. We are a people who are of peace. We are a people who connect with nature. We are a people when we're in our own, besides the disruption, and it's that core of us that allows them to even have the dominance that they have in the areas in which they dominate. Yeah. Now, for me, I don't have the mindset of white supremacy. They, white people, guess what you got to do? The same thing I have to do. You have to put your pants on one leg at a time, whatever. I don't care. We the same. We equal. We're not. So from my era, because we talk about bridging the gap, it was very much instilled in us that white people are not superior to us. We are as good as them. There is at no time in my thoughts and my actions that a white person would run up on me and think that they're better than me. Now I'm off my target. I'm off my square of how I was raised to think and to believe and to know that you are not superior. So maybe that term hits different for me because of the gap. I came up in a different time and space where that term hits. So I said, I personally, white supremacy, white dominance, yeah. But what are they dominating with, and what has it left? What is the destruction in its way? And we are definitely more powerful than we know. I'm not gonna say we supreme, but we are a powerful people, and we have to know and understand that there is no. I don't even say they dominate. They right now it appears to have more power than we do, simply because we're not accessing our power and using it in a manner in which we can, in a manner in which we could. The fear is what is the kryptonite? It is our unity. When we unify, ain't nothing at all.
See, and that's, you know what, and I think what you're saying is true, but it's coming from the way you saw it coming up. And
right.
That world don't exist no more.
See, that's what I'm saying. I gotta have you to help me see that don't exist, but you gotta see that it exists in me.
I understand. I definitely understand. Believe me, I tell people all the time, man. Like you know what I'm saying, like the big froze and all that. I'm a 70s head. I study the greats is who the greats I study. That's the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like that era is what I study. So I get it. And there's a lot of people that do get it, but at the same time, I get that it sounds good, but this a different world.
It's a different world, Miss Brown. This is a different world, Mama Brown. Then that's what I need. I need to understand this world.
Yeah,
I need to be willing to see the world as it is, and understand that the way I see it is the way I see it.
Yeah, and what the thing is, it's about. So what's the solution to that, right? You know, so instead of, well, this is just the way I see it, and this, you know, we got to figure out, okay, this is the way I see it, but this is what I see it because I have a lot of those principles because the people I study, the people I go to sleep listening to come from that era. So I'm used to the older, wiser in my ear, you know, but I live the life. So my gift is I take it and I understand it, but I'm like, some of it is outdated, even though what you're saying is not lying. You're not telling the, and I think that's where the kids, and what I was just saying about the preacher and all that, the great household, what they're saying is not, it's not they bad people. Like, you know, my mom wasn't bad. My mom was a good mom, but the world she was feeding me to, I started already seeing it that, you living in a fairy tale. No, that world right there is a setup. I'm not going towards that.
Okay.
And what I ran to was the only place I had was the streets. If I could have ran to a CEO youth league, I'd have been in there. If I could have ran to, it was nothing else to run to. So what is out there? Gangs, drugs, because I'm better than that, man. I'm making more money than my pops. They say he a good man, but he over there struggling over there at that factory, man. What he making a week, I made that today.
Wow.
So now it's, well, you just bad for making that fast money. Okay, that's still no solution. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe the solution is I need to figure out about how we build from here, because we'll demonize that person making fast money and not realize that this is America. This was built off blood. This was built off drugs. This was, sex. Like America is filthy. Like, this country was built off all that, and we lose because, oh no, we just a good, moral, holy people. We're not gonna do it. No. And what if my dad would have been like or my granddad would have been like the Kennedy's great granddad when he was into booze and all that, and he flipped that and turned them legit. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of wealthy families that's Caucasian or whatever you want to call them, that they great grandpa was doing some stuff he ain't had no business doing, but he already knew, I'm getting up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting up out of here, so my kids ain't gonna have to do this. We teach our kids to keep it going. They're throwing gang signs. I see parents all the time with their kids in the pictures. They all throwing it up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the standard. So what's his standard gonna be? Man, I'm 18. I ain't got no kid. I ain't in jail. Man, I'm happy to be alive. That's the standard, because what you starting them off with is not excellent. It's not, well, you're going to be a banker, a lawyer at 5 years old. You're going to be over here doing this after football practice. You're going to be over here in the spelling bee. You're going to learn about knowledge. And you know what I'm saying? You're going to be reading the newspaper like Pac Mom had him, like, even though he went to the streets. That's one thing, when you go to the streets and you still got some kind of foundation of, man, but I would have been born in a Black Panther household. Like, who, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
What? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, back then, them guys was 15, 16, 17. What they were doing in the Black Panthers and all that, there wasn't no old men. Them men was like 16 to about 24. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them guys, like 25, 26. They was young.
Yeah.
We because they was raised, like you said, in your era, where that was a standard. Like that, like, ain't no supremacy. We run stuff. Why? Because that's what it really was happening.
That's what was really happening. You're right.
That ain't really happening now. Tell me what.
It's not happening now.
Okay. Doing this new era of Detroit. That's the closest, and they doing it on a mini scale. Back then, that was just the way of life everywhere.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're exactly right.
So great. That's the culture that was broke. How do we build that culture? It's not how many people not showing up to our programs. How do we build a culture where it's going to be a standard where you got to show up to this garden and learn that, because you got your own garden in your backyard. You got to go to CEO Youth League, because even though you playing sports, you already started your business at 8 years old. At 13 years old, it's a standard that you certified to be a CPR, because that's the standard that they started with the CEO Youth League. Like, once I found out 13 years old is the age, every time you're a 13-year-old, you're going to get CPR, and then it's going to get to a point where you're going to be like, well, somebody 15, you ain't got your CPR, girl, you slipping, you know what I'm saying? Now that's the standard now, you know? Yes. You see how quick the standard changed? And that's what we got to do, that on the education, on all this stuff. We got to raise the standard and stop letting them, like, that's good, man. You right. I heard about 5 boys that didn't make it to 18. You right. You are blessed to be 18. I mean, that goes without saying. We blessed to make every day, every year. Okay, we don't gotta. That ain't gotta be the goal of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Like, no, it's like you made it to 18. Let's get it. Yeah, it's time. That's the conversation. It's time. Let's go. Let's go.
What you got in my trust fund? What have you been saving all these years? So when I get 18, I can start my business. You already. I've been having do I got an LLC? I should have had an LLC at 12. I should have had this. Like, so that's the standard. Like, that's what we said right now. It's ugly. It's gonna be it's gonna be empty rooms. And the only reason why I got rooms now that gonna always at least have about 15 because I have set the standard with those 15.
The standard with those.
The other 30 some that ain't the standard yet. They love the idea, they into it, but it's not the standard. But one at a time, you know, it's gonna be the standard. And before you know that 12 to 15 that's a standard, it's gonna be 30 that's a standard. Then it's gonna be 40 that's a standard. You know,
right.
You grow from that. You know, you might have 200 kids, but I want that 50 that's a standard. And then we'll just grow with the other 150. It'll get there. You know, so that's all we got to get the standard and all this, man. So we'll talk about that, but it's not there. I'm gonna get up out of here. You're not gonna get me in no trouble with the mister. We already, you know.
Yeah, no, we good. Yeah, but beautiful conversation.
Yeah, but that's what it is. It's about raising the standard. So I'm gonna let you you know, go ahead and put your last thoughts on everything I just said, or add to it.
Well, just culminating in the conversation, it was a great conversation, a needed conversation, in order for us to bridge the gap. I like how we can always get back to the core of why we're here, and so the core of why we're here is because we're operating with different frames of reference, and we have to be open to understand how things have shifted and where our places are. And so for this session, it is simply, how do we build from here? We've gotten a perspective of it's not this anymore, it's this. And our role and our goal is to come together, bridging the gap, and determine how do we build from here? How do we build from here? And as you eloquently stated, we build with those who are here and committed at this time, knowing that core group will grow the group, and we will grow the group in excellence and with standards. So that 50 that understands the standard will in turn provide that guidance to those who need to understand the standard and apply the standard. And so absolutely beautiful. How do we build from here? With the ones we have, with the standards we determine in a spirit of excellence, and not just excellent, but knowing who we are, how strong we are, and what our abilities are, not looking down on ourselves, but looking out in reality and saying, these are the way things are right now, and we can make a difference by having a standard and moving in excellence. So that's what I got out of it. How do we build from here?
How do we build from here?
That's it.
And we showing it. And like I said, just got to be more. And it's coming together. We've been talking about it, you know what I'm saying? But the first thing is we got to stop doing it alone. Because like I said,
true.
You know, that's the easy fix right now that you can just say without even having to really think deep. Once we get that out the way, so how do we make sure we ain't got same things, two things going on at once, and we collaborating on everything we do? You know, but that core, of course, you ain't gonna be able to do that with everybody, but your core people that you really build with, that you really, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to be having matching, we don't, that goes for all of us. So, and we need to, because the people that at my event, this week we need to be all over here. You know what I'm saying? Or the people at this event, this week we need to be all over there. And that just sets the standard, because at the end of the day, both of those go with the lifestyle. So long, we go from the garden to art activities, or the garden to investing or whatever. It's still feeding yourself and building and investing and doing something, being smart with your money. You know, I got a course that I'm putting together called "Does Your Money Like You?" I love that course. Like, it's always running away from you the way you live. You know, so it must not like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they be throwing it out there.
So we'll get on that. We'll definitely build. We'll have to sit down and get everything together, because the camp is coming, so I gotta get some availabilities. I gotta let you know my vision and see how we can make that go together. So I'll talk to you off air on that. But I appreciate it. I love everybody that came in. Thank y'all for this. Has been another hot episode with Miss Brown. It seems like we ain't talked, but we did talk last week. But I guess it's been a long week, so I feel like it's been like 2 weeks or so.
No, we haven't been on broadcast. We did talk. We keep up. Yeah, but we hadn't did the broadcast for 2 weeks. So I know it was feeling, because I'm like, it feels like I ain't seen her in a while, but that's why, because I haven't. Okay, I got it. Okay, no, we hadn't seen each other. But that's cool. Cool.
All right. Well,
you working at the House of Resources tomorrow?
Yeah, we supposed to be in there, but it's supposed to rain. I don't know, man. It's 60%.
Well, let me know because Jay already contacted me, so just let me know.
Okay, like as long as it don't rain, yeah. But it was supposed to rain today, but it didn't. So I don't know. It's still saying 60%, but I don't. If it do like today, now we're gonna be in there working because I'm gonna put the sign up and everything tomorrow too. So if it's not raining, I'm gonna be over there putting the sign up, doing some painting, organizing and stuff. So yeah, if it's not raining, it's all good. So I guess I'll talk to you early.
Okay, cool. Let me know. I'm out.
You have a good day.
You're welcome. Hey, Gee, I'm here.